Scroll.
I could barely.
2 fingers. Just put 2 fingers and scroll up.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're just we're doing the Facebook, YouTube together. So for the first time, so we're just getting acclimated. Keep scrolling. There we are. Right there.
Oh.
Click to expand.
Nope. That's fine, just like that.
Okay. Can you try it on the YouTube now?
Just want to confirm that we are live on YouTube as well.
Yep, there we are.
Okay, so open that up.
Oh wait. Let me make sure I'm muted.
You have the headphones. I gave you them.
Oh yeah.
No, close that. Exit out.
I click it.
Okay. There you go. There's the chat.
Cool. Okay. Can you just open the chat? Hey, Edgar. Thank you for joining. And Fine Curls, thank you for joining us tonight. And Edgar says, nice change of scenery. Thank you so much. We put in so much.
A lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work that went into this. So, again, tonight we're talking about all things New Year's Eve, but there are a few things that we wanted to get into tonight. Actually, that I wanted to get into.
Yeah, you had some stuff that you wanted to get off your
chest. I got some
so.
shit that I need to talk about that has just hit my radar that I'm a little like, oh shit about, but then I'm also kind of like sad, like I'm oh shit about, but I'm also kind of happy about it. And just real quick, we are drinking Prophecy Cabernet Sauvignon from California, and let's cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.
Very good.
What happened?
That's fine.
No. What the?
It's fine.
I hear it
Okay.
twice.
So maybe because it's on here, because you have the headphones on, you can hear us on both feeds.
Just turn this one down. You'll hear the other one.
So Vanessa says that we switched sides and she loves this set. And Becca, so beautiful, everything. Thank you guys so much. We weren't sure if we were going to wait till after the new year.
Right.
But we decided to just fucking pull the trigger because we have actually some other house projects going on.
Yes.
And if we didn't do it now, this would have
cut right into that.
Yeah. You know, you can click on this video for the Facebook. Because it's
paused. No, don't enlarge it. Just click on it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so
Can I say something real quick? Sorry. I just have to. There we go.
that's not how. Anyway. Oh, Edgar says that he's missing the llama.
The llama had a. The llama went on vacation. Let's just put it that way.
No, the llama had to go because my cousin a couple of lives ago told us that it looked like a penis in the background.
That's why we need to keep it.
Another person said that the llama had to lean.
And then on top of that, I could not stop looking at the llama and thinking that he looked like a penis.
Yeah.
So that was it for me.
And hey, Mom, thanks for joining us again. Good to see you.
So, Gina, thank you so much for joining. Melissa, thank you so much for joining. And my legs, you know what's so funny? This is the first time that you've seen us like from like below the waist. Like I don't even know what the hell's. It feels so weird because I feel like that was kind of like my fail-safe, right? Like you couldn't see me below the waist.
Yo, everybody's getting a kick out of the fact that we changed seats. Ivan on Facebook says, he's like, what's going on? We changed seats. Hey, we're just trying something different, man. I hope that you like it.
Okay, wait, listen. We did not change seats. Originally, this was my seat.
Yeah, but not everybody knows that.
Oh, yeah, okay. So if you go way back to like the beginning of our lives, this was my seat originally.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's get into tonight's.
Yes, let's
so
get it started.
again, we're talking about New Year's Eve, but before we get into New Year's Eve, guys and ladies, I have to talk about Shia LaBeouf. If you don't know what's going on with Shia LaBeouf,
oh man.
I used to be, and and I'm going to say used to be very strongly, used to be a huge Shia LaBeouf fan for a lot of reasons. I just felt like he was a very committed actor.
Yeah.
I really appreciated a lot of his performances. But it has just come out that FKA Twigs, who I'm also a very huge fan of,
Right.
she filed a lawsuit against Shia LaBeouf. And the reason why she filed a lawsuit against him is because she is stating that he sexually assaulted her and inflicted emotional distress in just their 1 year of their relationship. In addition to that, she's stating that he gave her an STD that he hid from her, but he only knew he had it.
My man was living like a rock star.
Oh, he was living like a real piece of shit is what he was doing.
He was doing his Post Malone.
What do you mean? Oh,
I was popping hoes and I was popping pillies, and I'm feeling
so
like, you know.
I'm just kind of like, oh my God about it, because how many more celebrities do we need to hear about them doing things that are so, like, they're so under the radar and they're so kept under wraps, and then all of a sudden something comes out. And I think one of the reasons why I chose to talk about this was because, of course, I was on TikTok, and now what's starting to happen is other people are starting to come out and make stories about, okay, I don't want to say make stories. Other people are coming out and claiming that they knew things about Shia LaBeouf's behavior. Yeah. Okay, so let me just tell you how I feel. Fine, he's a piece of shit. He sexually assaulted this girl. But why is it when one person comes out, when they take this step, because it's a very courageous step, because not only is it putting Shia LaBeouf on blast, it's putting FKA Twigs's personal life on blast too. Like, now everybody knows she has an STD. Everybody knows that she was sexually and physically and, like, you know, experienced, like, emotional distress. So, like, her business is on Front Street. But then I feel like now people are starting to fucking ride the wave, and they're not riding the wave for the same reason that she came out. She came out because something was done horrible to her, and she wanted to, like, let people know. But I feel like other people now are coming out and being like, oh yeah, one time I worked on shit with Shia LaBeouf, and he's, like, hard to work with, and he's in this and that, and, like, he was falling asleep, and, like, people are making all these claims now, and I just feel like that is, like, it's unnecessary.
It's the classic Me Too. And not in that sense.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, whoa.
I was like, what you mean
Don't crucify me now, because that is a respected movement. I'm just saying, it's like it's like even before the Me Too, right? It was like, you know, if somebody might have something to say about something that might be a little bit on the controversial side, they won't say nothing. But if somebody else says something about it, then they'll quick to be like, oh yeah, me too, you know, or like, or you know, I feel you. I went through something like that too. But meanwhile, the whole time, you know, they were real quiet about it.
Yeah, so, I get it. He obviously, as a person, he has done some really horrible things. But what I will say is that I just don't appreciate all the people that are riding FKA Twigs's, like, they're riding her wave right now. And I'm kind of pissed off about it, because I understand that he has done things that, like, a lot of people would deem fucked up, but I feel like they're riding her wave, and it's, like, on her personal pain. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
You know, but like but you sign up for that when you're a celebrity. You know, it kind of comes with the territory. Yeah.
So Gina says that yes, they're they're bandwagon
jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah.
And I can't stand when people do that kind of stuff. Like, don't ride this girl's fucking lawsuit and being like, oh yeah, I worked with him once on fucking Transformers and he XYZ. Okay, great. That shit was like 10 years ago. Why are you waiting for it to come out now? They're trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, and I think that shit is real, like, shallow of a person. Like, he actually came out, Shia LaBeouf came out and said that he knows what he did was wrong. He knows that he suffers from a lot of illnesses and problems.
Right.
So, like, he's not trying to hide it, and I'm not trying to give him a pat on the back at all, but I just don't appreciate all the other people that are coming out and fucking riding the wave of what FKA Twigs took a lot of courage to do. I don't appreciate that shit.
You tell him, Gina.
Well, listen, I'm telling him why I'm mad. Can you play the music for me?
He's got the headphones on.
So the next thing that I want to talk about this actually hits really close to home. And if anyone has not heard this, please do yourself a favor after the live. Go on Google and Google Tom Cruise yells at people on set. And I'm going to tell you how I felt about this when I heard this. So there's actually an audio clip that has leaked online of Tom Cruise on the set of Mission Impossible 7 bugging out at and I'm gonna give you like a little snippet of what actually he's saying. So he goes, "If I see you doing it again, you're fucking gone." Like, that's a little snippet of how Tom Cruise was talking to the crew. And come to find out from a little bit of research that I did, he was yelling because there were two people standing closer than 3 feet apart, and I guess they were at a computer, which doesn't go with COVID compliance rules.
Right. And so rightfully so. I mean, I would have been pissed too.
So the audio goes a little bit deeper where Tom Cruise starts to talk about how he is pissed off that people are not complying to these rules because he's trying to make this production work because people need this for their livelihood. People need to take care of their families. He said it. He goes, "This is not going to pay their mortgage. This is not going to pay their college tuition." So I just think that it hit close to home for me because I'm a makeup artist by trade, and you have seen my career in production come to like a screeching halt.
Excuse me.
And the fact that he is taking it so serious, Tom Cruise just jumped up like 10 notches for me.
I'm gonna say that was the thing that shocked me the most. Because you don't really think that someone of that caliber would have certain people on their radar, and the fact that he was so upset.
Yeah.
Not only because of the break in the protocol, but because your industry was severely hit, and so many people who barely get by in that industry as it is, because it's a tough industry to get into, and you have to spend a lot of years doing grunt work.
Yeah.
Are now out of work, and if these people don't fucking play by the rules, this shit is gonna go back to lockdown, and you're gonna have the whole industry shut down again.
Listen, I have worked, I want to say, anywhere between 4 to 6 production jobs since this year because of COVID. And I've had to have a COVID test every single time. The rules are really strict on set. I have to wear a mask. I have to wear a face shield when I'm in contact with talent. And we are not allowed to eat in the same spaces. I used to have to go to set with the talent a lot. It is very touch and go now. It's like, we will call you if we need you, because now in the filming, wherever they're filming, they only want no more than like 6 people. So it's usually however many talent are being filmed, the director, the assistant director, the director of photography, the person who's filming, sound and lighting, and like that's it. And everyone else, vete pa carajo. So Tom Cruise, I'm just gonna put it out there. I appreciate you bugging the fuck out on set because you're taking COVID very seriously on set. Because for me, I need that to happen so that I can continue working in 2021.
Yeah, and like I have to repeat that. The fact that, his main concern and what he was the most upset about was that they were risking other people's careers. I mean, obviously if he doesn't work, for a couple years, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
But he was worried about the people that wouldn't be fine, if they shut down production again. So big up to Tom Cruise for that for sure. So we have some comments here we want to read. Ivan says he's at work. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah, for real.
And Tracy says, "Oh, you guys have a cat?" Tracy, we actually have 3 cats, believe it or not. And this
is the first time that Tracy's seeing this cat.
They make special guest appearances on the show whenever they feel like it. So we're going to be doing the Facebook Live from now on, along with the YouTube Live. So if you're on the Facebook Live, you'll probably see the other cats join us every once in a while.
And so Edgar says that the 2 Transformers movies that made him a star could have triggered this behavior.
I could see that.
So Edgar's talking about Shia LaBeouf. So just going back on that, Shia LaBeouf actually comes from a very traumatic childhood. His dad was like a pretty extreme alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his recent movies that has just come out, which is Honey Boy, talks about his life and how his dad was like a crazy alcoholic and he went through a lot of trauma in his life. And so I think that some of his behaviors stem from that.
Yeah.
But when you have this type of stardom, can you just check the Facebook feed for me, please?
Yeah, something happened to the video.
When you have this type of stardom happen to you, I think it could really, it could do something to certain people.
Click on learn more.
You've seen a lot of people who are young actors all of a sudden have a lot of problems with alcoholism, a lot of problems with drugs. So who's to say what the hell happened to him? I don't know. But honestly, I don't really give a shit either way, because at the end of the day, I come from a traumatic childhood, and I don't think that that's a reason why you should abuse another person.
No, it's not.
And Shia LaBeouf is in the position to get help and get good help.
You know, it's unfortunate.
He's got the money for it.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate that some people, you know, once they get a taste of power, they either use it for good or they use it for bad things. And, you know, it's unfortunate that it seems like that he's crossed over to the dark side when it comes to that. I mean, it's not.
You shall not speak of the dark side.
Well, we're talking about a different dark side here. We're talking about the dark side of Hollywood, and we know that Hollywood has a very dark side. So, Shia LaBeouf, please come back to us. You know,
I liked him as an actor.
Yeah, we liked him as an actor, and would love to see you get help, man.
Agreed, but for the moment, fuck him. So, listen, I'm just going to keep it real.
Hey.
And Melissa says that, yeah, he yelled, rightfully so, talking about Tom Cruise. He knows that Scientology can't fix COVID.
That's a fact.
And Elsa says, Tom Cruise, thumbs up. So, listen, like I said, I'm with him on this 100%. I appreciate him taking it 100% serious. And Edgar says, not justifying his behavior at all. Okay, Edgar, I appreciate you saying that. I didn't think that you were justifying his behavior, but I do think that maybe you were just trying to link maybe where a piece of it came from.
Right.
I mean, honestly, we don't fucking know. I'm not even going to speculate, but until he gets his shit together, fuck Shia LaBeouf.
So Tracy's asking, what kind of wine are we drinking?
And our moderator, I think, Mateo, can you answer that for her? On what she's asking on Facebook, though, so you might have to type it in. But in the meantime, I'll have him type it in. But we are drinking Prophecy. It is a Cabernet Sauvignon. And Tracy, true story, I got this bottle because the cover was pretty.
But it actually tastes good.
It tastes really great.
Yeah.
We've been drinking a lot of Cabernet lately, and we actually weren't Cabernet drinkers previous to this. We drank a lot of Pinot Noir, a lot of Shiraz,
and a lot of Argentinian Malbec.
A lot of Malbec.
Malbec is our number one choice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move on to my last thing of the night before we get into New Year's Eve, and this is something that you and I just recently watched and we really enjoyed it. So I wanted to share with the audience so that they themselves can look at it. So you and I are both big Riz Ahmed fans, and if you don't know who Riz Ahmed is, he is an actor from Pakistan. And he was on a show on HBO that Evo and I loved called The Night Of. It was like a mini series. He's
so good.
Fucking amazing in that.
Yeah.
He also is in Rogue One, and he also is in Nightcrawler.
Yep.
But we just saw him in an Amazon movie called The Sound of Rock, and I'll just give you a little bit of insight of what the movie's about. It's about him being a drummer and then losing his hearing and becoming fully deaf. And it's basically his journey coming to terms with being deaf. And I know that may not sound exciting, but there's some Oscar buzz around this movie, and rightfully so, because his acting performance was phenomenal. You really feel like you were watching the true journey of a man really lose his hearing.
Yeah.
And I think that is so hard to portray because he can hear. So could you imagine what it's like to put yourself in that element of what it's like to not hear? And I give him a lot of props. He learned sign language, and he lived amongst deaf people for a little bit, just like to understand like how they functioned in that world.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about who he is, because at the end of the day, he could have just learned a few things and that probably would have got him through the movie, but he really submerged himself in the character, and you can really see how it's portrayed in the movie because he does, again, a phenomenal job. So highly recommend this movie, Riz Ahmed and the Sound of Rock, and it is an Amazon movie. If you don't have Amazon, you need to get that illegal stream.
I want to put Riz Ahmed in the highly underrated actors category. I mean, because everything that we've seen him in, he's just done a phenomenal job, and I'm surprised that he hasn't been in a lot more movies or casted more.
Yes, I do think that he is a phenomenal actor. I would love to see him in more movies, and I think he has the ability to really go in a lot of different categories. I just think Hollywood right now is still finding their way when it comes to people of color, when it comes to acting, because I'm going to tread lightly when I say this. I feel like a lot of roles and scripts are written with a white or female, a white male or female as like a lot of the times they're written in as how that story is going to be portrayed. Right. So I think sometimes putting in a person of color is not always the first objective. So I think as amazing as an actor as he is, I think Hollywood is still trying to figure out where to put him right now.
Well,
but
they need to figure it out.
But as of right now,
the
roles that he has played are fucking amazing.
I want to see him in more movies. He just, every time I see him, I love his acting.
So Edgar says similar to Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles. Oh, I didn't even think about that. You know what? I've actually never seen that movie. Have you?
It's a great movie. Yes, I have.
I've never seen it.
It's great.
Why haven't I seen it?
He did an amazing job.
But that makes me think about my favorite character, Daredevil, Charlie Cox. He plays a man who's blind. Right. So, and he does a phenomenal job. And I know Edgar's not the biggest fan of Charlie Cox, but whatever. But that's a great comparison. Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles. And I just can't even imagine. That to me goes beyond acting. Because now you are actually having to portray somebody that has that, even though people who are deaf don't consider it a disability, but as far as like a normal functioning human being, that is something that you don't have.
But would it be considered like a handicap?
I feel like disability and handicap are kind of like the words can be played either way. But I just think that goes even further when that's beyond acting. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get into New Year's Eve. Those are just some of the things that I wanted to share. Shia LaBeouf is fucking canceled. Tom Cruise went up 100, and Riz Ahmed is still at 100 for me.
So one more comment before we go on to the next subject. Ivan says that he's at work and that he needs to keep his Disney crew on point with the protocols. So he used to live by me and he moved down to Florida. Okay. I'm guessing he works at Disney now. Bro, do me a favor, make a couple phone calls, holler at your people, and make it happen. Straighten them out, please.
So he says, if not, we will be shut down. I'm a manager here, so when we're allowed to bring in guests, it says see more. Can you see more, please, on the Facebook feed? Okay, so he works at Disney?
He works at Disney, yeah.
Oh, so I could imagine, I could imagine how strict the rules are.
At the bottom there, it says see more at the end of the comment.
You guys and kiddos are my guests to the parks on me. Great job, guys.
Oh, man. Thanks, Ivan. I appreciate that.
That makes me feel amazing. Our daughter has consistently asked us to go to Disney.
Yes, we have yet to take her to Disney, so I might be hitting you up, brother.
Can you scroll up just a little bit, please? Because actually, my brother Max is joining in.
And Tracy says she's enjoying the shit talk.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Tracy. On the Facebook.
Just 2 fingers to scroll up.
And so Melissa's agreeing with Edgar, saying that he's really good. And I'm assuming that, wait. Oh, okay. All right. let me collect myself.
What's
really quick.
going on?
So Melissa's saying that he's really good, and I'm assuming that she's talking about Jamie Foxx's Ray Charles. And then,
Yes.
of course, Edgar had to chime in and say Ben Affleck is the real Daredevil. Of course he did. And then Max Paredes says Tom Cruise, while it was done incorrectly, he was right. The film industry needs to follow the same rules we do. I agree.
Tighten up.
And honestly, in the film, I can speak directly from experience. We were very close to each other a lot on set, and it's a behavior that you kind of have to unlearn, especially as a makeup artist. I'm usually like this close to a person.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what it's like for me now? I feel like a doctor. I have a mask and a face shield on, and like and all of the new behaviors that I had to implement, I'm doing it. And I think everyone else should be doing it for the safety of other people, because yes, I'm younger and I may be fine, but that doesn't mean that you're going to go home and your 6-year-old grandma not going to be all right.
There you go. And that's that.
6-year-old grandma. Let me just take a sip and then we'll move on. So, let's get into New Year's Eve. I think we can all say that the New Year's Eve that is up and coming is going to be an unprecedented New Year's Eve. I think a lot of people are going to look back at 2020 and say,
throw that shit in the trash.
Throw that shit in the trash. And I think a lot of people are actually just going to kind of like, I think people are not even going to reflect on 2020 for the most part. I think they're just going to be like, so we're just going to go from fucking, what was the year before 2020? We're going to go from 2019, we're going to skip over 2020, and we're going to go straight to 2021. Like that shit is not, like, you know, like on a timeline, it's just going to skip, like, boop,
You know
see
what?
you later.
I feel like 2020 was supposed to be like when 1999, you know, when we entered the year 2000,
like Y2K.
Like Y2K. When 2020 hit, it was like, you know, the new decade, and the way it started off, man, we don't might as well just erase that whole shit.
Well, listen, let's say this. The year 2020 started off
yeah.
really good for us.
For us, it did, yeah.
For us. I turned 40 this year, and I was just like, yo, I'm ready to serve this year. And I got to serve for like a good 30 days, and then it was just like, COVID-19, sit your ass in the house. But luckily, we got to go on a quick vacation for my birthday with some really great friends of ours, and we have an amazing time. And then it was just like lock in the house for 9 months.
At least we got that in there.
I just want to read some comments. So George, thank you so much. He shared the show on his Facebook page.
Appreciate it, brother.
And then Ivan says, correct. If one employee is not following protocols, it's serious. Can get into details later on social. And then Jen, thank you so much. She said that I look stunning tonight. Thank you so much. We're celebrating New Year's Eve, so I figured why not dress up, because New Year's Eve, I don't even be making it to 12. We don't even make it to 12 o'clock.
No, we don't. Not no more.
We're the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that a lot of people like to do on New Year's Eve, I've never done it myself. I don't know if you've done it, is go to Times Square.
I have not.
I have never gone to Times Square. Please tell me if anybody in the audience has ever gone to Times Square, because I don't like the cold. And I give so much props to people who go to Times Square and they fucking thug it out in the cold, because that is not something that I've ever looked forward to doing. I never want to do it.
I feel like that all those people that have gone to Times Square, and I may be like overstating this, but it just seems that way, because this is probably the reason why I've never gone. I feel like it's a bucket list thing. I feel like it's something that you have to do, because it's never been on my bucket list, so I've had no interest in going. And you would think that, you know, that we would, being that we're locals, but we've never gone.
But we've done things in New York City. So I want to give a little history on Times Square, but you want to read some comments before then?
Sure. So Jennifer is drooling with her eyes and lips. You may want a tissue or something.
And then Jen also says, throw this whole year away. And then Edgar says, I've been to Times Square on New Year's Eve 4 times.
Okay.
And then Jen says that she definitely thinks that it's a bucket list. Yeah. And Star, welcome to the stream. And Jen says, I'd only want to do it twice.
I never want to do it. It's too cold for that.
I just don't like the cold, but I will say this. We went sledding the other day, and a bitch was like, maybe I want to go snowboarding.
And I think you would enjoy snowboarding. And especially like going up to the mountains since you've kind of like
I've connected with
you've connected
nature.
with nature a little bit, being up in the mountains and just being in that environment, being in the cabin, if you rent the place and just enjoying that, it's great. But I did actually a little research on the whole Times Square thing. And
Okay.
there's a lot of reasons why I think you wouldn't enjoy it.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little background on Times Square. So the actual first time that Times Square, New Year's Eve, it dates back to 1904, but the first time that a ball was dropped from the flagpole on top of one Times Square was 1907.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that.
So we have been celebrating New Year's Eve in Times Square like more than 100 years, which I think is pretty insane when you think about it, because of all the different years and decades that you think that have been celebrated. Because when I did a little bit of research about Times Square, after 1907, not too long after that, we had the Spanish flu. And then we went in, and then we had the Roaring Twenties, which Times Square during that time was really built up. But then right after that, we went into the fucking Great Depression. And then we had World War II.
Oh my God.
And it was just a lot of shit going on where Times Square, during the 20s, it saw a lot of boom. Mm-hmm. But then the next couple of decades, it really was stunted. Fun fact, which I thought was pretty amazing, after the Great Depression, a lot of the industry in Times Square started to suffer due to there was no money. People weren't spending in theater, which was what was part of Times Square. The businesses were suffering. And that's where the pornography came from in Times Square.
Because sex sells.
Now, mind you, this is back during the right around the Great Depression, where you started to see things. You started to see things like what they called grinder houses, shows that showed sexually explicit films, and then they had burlesque shows, cheap restaurant peep shows, dance halls, penny arcades, and then like commercialized sex, prostitution, male and female, were all in Times Square. That went from the late 1920s up until the late 1990s when Rudy Giuliani fucking went and cleaned up Times Square.
So you're saying
for 70 years, Times Square was considered the pornography capital.
So you're saying that Times Square survived on the backs of women
and men, because
and
there was a lot of male prostitution
for
as
many
well.
years.
You know what's funny? They used to pay for that. Now it's free.
Now it's free. You don't. So
wait, I'm gonna read some comments. So Melissa says, "No way, it's too cold and crowded for my liking." And then Gina says, snowboarding is hard. Standing is a struggle. And then Edgar says World War I as well. World War I was around the Great Depression. So some of the research that I did that said that during World War II, a lot of the soldiers coming back, they went specifically to Times Square to find prostitution.
But that's not new. I mean, soldiers are still doing that all over the world.
I know, but they're not doing it in Times Square now.
Definitely not.
But what I'm saying is that, so if you think about it, for 70 years, what kept Times Square going was sex.
A whole lot of entanglements.
Like I said, I was entangled. Oh, Sonia, thank you so much. She said that we both look nice. So, Sonia, tonight we're celebrating New Year's Eve, so we felt like it was only proper
Thank you, Sonia.
It was only proper to dress up
You get
because
a little dappered up.
Lord knows, December 31st, me and Evo gonna be on the couch with one eye open like this. All right?
By the way, I agree with Titi Moo. It's way too crowded. I don't like places with a lot of people.
So,
Yeah.
And so Carlos says that he can't handle the city 1 hour and he has to get out. Hey, listen, I agree. I'm done with that. I'm past those days. You get the itch when you're younger, and you do it, and then that's it. It's over. It's like I don't know. It's like something that you just scratch off your list.
So, since it has been a tradition for over 100 years, Times Square, this is going to be the first time since 1907 where Times Square is going to be not the normal Times Square.
Yeah.
They're still going to have a Times Square ball drop, but they're only going to have I'm going to read it verbatim, extremely limited group of socially distant in-person honorees who will reflect the themes, challenges, and inspirations of 2020. So what that really means is, in layman's term, is they not gonna have no crowds and only celebrities are gonna be there and maybe a few regular people just to show. I think they'll maybe have some cops. They'll have some people, nurses and doctors, people, first responders.
Yeah.
I think they'll have some of those people there, and that's about it, because they need to be able to practice social distancing. I don't know. I think it's gonna be different.
I feel like,
but I still think we're gonna get to see a lot of good performances.
Here's what I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be now. They're gonna take this moment to allow a lot of people with privilege the ability to be in that environment and actually have space. Kind of like,
okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? I think it's gonna turn into that situation.
You haven't let our guest star speak at all. She hasn't gotten to speak.
She doesn't have a lot to say.
She's in the zone right now.
So
Look at her eyes. She faded, man.
So Edgar says that Dinkins was the first to clean up Times Square. Giuliani took the credit. And then Edgar says, in other words, first responders and family members, which is what I was getting at. That I think that they're just going to limit it to that, which I think is rightfully so. A lot of first responders, people in the medical field, give them all the access. Yeah. Teachers, give them all the access. We talked about this. On the last live. I don't think that they get enough credit.
They don't.
And if they're going to give them a fucking VIP pass to New Year's Eve, I'm all for it, because the bitch is going to be on her couch anyway. And then Jen says she do be interrupting her husband. Homie's just like, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that.
You interrupted him a couple of times. Yeah.
Oh, did I?
I don't know. I guess.
Listen,
it's nothing new.
It's a really bad habit that I have. It's probably because I like to talk and Evo likes to listen, so I'm just used to you just listening. So I'm always just like, wait. I got something else to say. And that's why our marriage works. Because if you didn't listen and you wanted to talk as much as me.
Hey, listen, I make a good ass witness.
Hey, man, you can't get a woman if you can't listen, man.
Yeah, that's I agree. Right. So Times Square is definitely going to be 100% different this year, but I'm all for it. I'm definitely not against it. I think whatever's going to keep New York safe, especially considering that New York had one of the highest cases of COVID in all of the United States. I don't think we want people gathering in groups to celebrate New Year's. Stay in your house, have a Zoom, have some drinks, and you'll be all right.
So watch some white people be dumb enough to do it anyway.
I don't think they're going to be allowed to. I don't think anyone's going to be allowed in Times Square. I think the cops are going to handle that.
We shall see.
So and then Star says, and then Jen says she's just passionate. That's a nice way of saying it. But Star says, LOL, Gina loves to talk.
Yes, she does.
I do.
But
if I didn't love to talk, we would not have Shit Talk Friday.
This is how it all started.
For real. It all started because I like to talk.
It wouldn't be Shit Talk Friday, just be Shit Friday. You need the talking portion.
But I'm going to turn it over to you now, because I know that you have some things for us tonight.
Yeah, quite a few things. I mean, I'm going
to let Evo talk now.
I, for one, agree with what Tracy's saying here. So Tracy says she hates New Year's. It's only a holiday. I cannot stand it. Fuck 2020. Now, I wouldn't say my feelings are that strong where I hate it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that New Year's is just highly overrated. I mean, I don't know. At the beginning, like when I first started going out and stuff like that, the excitement was go to New York, go to the city. And I did that a few times, and I want to say literally a few times, and I was done with it.
Do you know, I think the only time I've ever gone to the city was once, and it was with you and me.
See? So, like, I think I did it like 2 or 3 times, and I never went to go see the ball drop. I mean, just the thought of being in Times Square, it just made my skin crawl. And only because you just
lower that down one.
You just know what it's like to be in a club that's packed and move around. I could just imagine what it was like getting around Times Square. And you know how they did it in like the Puerto Rican Day Parade, where they would
block off certain streets.
They would block off certain streets to channel the crowds of people, and they would take you on these crazy routes just to get from point A to point B. Now, like, I'm good. I'm done with it.
I mean, well, I have been to Puerto Rican Day Parade a couple of times. I was actually there that year. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let
we're not. Yeah, this is not about the parade. That was just an example. But I mean, like, honestly, the bars are overcrowded. Drinks are super expensive.
Yeah. Well, usually you have to pay it's like a package.
You could pay a package, or you could if you're going to a club or something like that. You're gonna pay the entrance fee, but then you're still paying for drinks when you get in there, unless you get a table or something like that. It's like it's the we be raping you season. It really is, because I mean, like, as far as like everywhere you go, you're paying a super high premium. We be raping you. Like, I'm telling you, it's just another holiday that's designed to make people spend money.
I mean, but isn't that all of the holidays?
But I honestly feel like so New Year's Eve, the ball dropping was initially a way for ships to be able to adjust their clocks when they were offshore. There used to be balls on towers on lighthouses, and they would balls on towers on lighthouses, right? And they would drop the ball, and that was a signal to the ships, and somehow that, because it was
transition.
So it was a way for the people on the ships to know that they had to adjust their clocks. So it just meant like adjust change in time, and they ended up using that for New Year's and the ball dropping.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some comments. So Gina says that's a positive remark, that I talk a lot. I will take that as a positive because I was told a lot as a child that it wasn't. And fuck you, elementary school. And then Jen says, New Year's Eve is an excuse to drink, just like Cinco de Mayo, not a real holiday. She goes, but we be lit.
But we be lit.
But we be lit.
But we be lit.
It's better to have something at home and not out. And then Vanessa says, I would be so claustrophobic if I had to stand in that crowd. And secondly, how does anyone hold their pee for that long? Laughing my fucking ass off.
So that's one of the issues.
And then EDJ says, New Year's Eve, amateur night.
That's one of the issues. I mean, like, it's just another reason to go out and get drunk.
Honestly?
It really is.
How does somebody actually hold their pee that long? I've never thought about that.
Listen, and when you're in Times Square, there's no bathrooms.
Because when I drink,
I
gotta pee like every 5
There's no bathroom.
minutes.
So believe it or not, there is a like a theory or a conspiracy. I don't know. I'm like, for lack of, but there is this thing that people actually wear adult diapers when they go into those crowds.
Like Depends.
Because just there's nowhere to go.
I actually think I think that's actually a really good.
It's like the unspoken Times Square secret, is that when you go there, if you're the type of person where you can't hold it, that's one way to do it.
Just go pee pee in the pants.
It depends.
People.
It depends.
Yo, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it's not insane, because I think eventually, in our elder years, a bitch gonna have to put on some Pampers. So it's not insane, but like, to have to do that just to be in Times Square.
Listen, like I said, it's like an unspoken thing, but I did research it and I found some stuff on it, and apparently it's a thing. Okay,
so Edgar says, thinking about it now, even though I've been to Times Square, it's overrated. I'm having a get off my lawn moment. And wait, I think I just scared our cat. So, and then EDJ says, loving the new scenery. And then Jen says, you can't break the seal.
Okay.
And then Star says, even if you wear Pampers, just go into... Wait, hold on a second. I need to stop. I'm laughing too much. So even if I ever wear Pampers, just go out in the crowd and get anxiety anyway. Punch me in the face. Even though I'm a person that loves people and loves to talk, I have the worst, like, anxiety when it comes to, like, certain things. Yeah. If there's too much going on, the bitch be like, I gotta go. So I just don't know how people do that kind of stuff, because I come from the hood. You push me the wrong way, I'm ready to fight. So Times Square is not. I'm not built for Times Square.
I can guarantee you that there's quite a few fights that break out on Times Square for that reason. What? Come on.
All right.
You know how many elbows are getting thrown? How many people are catching?
I don't know. People are drunk, so
exactly.
well, you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe you're right.
You know, and I just feel like it's just like it's like a glorified St. Patrick's Day.
Well,
It's a yes, or like Cinco de Mayo.
Well, and then Tracy says that's gross. Depends. And then Edgar says there were places that had bathrooms around Times Square that would allow people to use the bathroom. And then Star says that Times Square is ghetto. And then Edgar says I've never had depends on when we went to Times Square. So since Edgar's gone, he can attest to the fact that not everybody's wearing diapers, but I guess some people are. Anyway, what else do you have for us?
You know, the other thing that's like I don't know. I feel like it's overrated is like, you know, when you're out on New Year's and the ball drops and you turn around and there's like fucking 15 people kissing. You know, it's great for the people that are kissing. Yeah. But what if you're that person that, like, you know, you're just there chilling and you're single? You know, like that feeling that you get. I know I felt that way once or twice.
Alone.
You know, especially if you're single and you're going out and you're kind of like, you know, scoping the area. You know, maybe trying to like see if you can pick somebody up or get to know somebody or whatever, catch a number, and it just doesn't end up happening. And when the ball drops, everybody's like, and you're just like, okay, well, it's time for another drink, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm Latino, and I think growing up, you would just kiss anybody, but like, but like on the cheek, and I don't mean on the mouth. I mean like you would just embrace somebody.
No, it's about you gotta make out. Like it's a making out thing.
Yo, I'm having deja vu right now.
You've been having a lot of deja vu.
I've been having a lot of deja vu lately.
Can we get some lotto numbers, please?
That's Mateo's job. Mateo knows a lot of numbers, but I'm having some like intense deja vu. Guys and ladies, we are in the fucking Matrix right now. Okay, but I mean, okay, so you're saying that like people on New Year's, it's a bit of a weird situation for the people that don't have somebody. You know what I'm saying? And it's all like it's based on this New Year's thing when literally everything that you do on New Year's you can do on any given day of the week except transition into a new year. But all the stuff that you're doing, they're out partying, celebrating, drinking, buying weird hats and stuff like that. Like you could do that on any given day. You know, so I just feel like it's stupid.
Look, man, I'm not gonna go all the way to Times Square in a crowded ass place in the cold just to get a kiss on the cheek, bro. It's not worth it.
If you go all the way.
Mateo's like, if I'm not getting no tongue, I'm not going.
Yeah. Bro, it better be worth it, bro. Like I'm not going in that cold ass weather for nothing, bro.
and then. Did you want to read some comments?
Yeah, I want to read some comments. So, Star told Edgar to stop lying. And then Donald says that he likes our setup. He said it's bomb. Thank you so much,
Thanks, Donald.
I appreciate that. We put a lot of hard work into this. So, I'm so happy to hear that people are enjoying the new setup. And then Donald says, also, New Year's Eve in Times Square is weird, especially thinking how close everyone is. No bueno. And then Star says, my sister's friend got kissed by a... hold on. Her sister's friend got kissed by a homeless guy on New Year's Eve. He tongued her and ran.
That homeless guy was winning.
He said you gonna learn today. And then Edgar says, I didn't make out with a stranger on New Year's Eve. I feel deprived.
No, she corrected herself. She said I didn't make out with.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, and then Star says you're probably having all the deja vu because of the huge planet alignment on the 21st. Well, that would make sense because the solstice is coming on the 21st, and I feel like I've been more connected with the Earth as a whole over this past year. But I want to say the past month, I've been having crazy deja vu. And it's been like, usually I have deja vu, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm having deja vu. But it's like deja vu now felt with like an intense feeling of like my space being warped. Yeah. Maybe that's going a little deep, but do you remember in the Matrix when he like does that thing where he touches it and he goes woo? Yeah. Like sometimes that's what I feel like is happening. I feel like the space between time and reality is like being warped for a second.
It is not the spoon that bends. It is your mind.
But that's exactly what I feel like what the fuck is happening right now. The wine is probably not helping, but the other day when we were setting up the new space, I remember
you were like,
I had it. I was like, whoa. I've been here before. But anyway, keep going.
All right. So here's the other thing that just really irritates me about New Year's is the fucking speed traps. Like
speed traps?
Speed traps, like cops.
Oh God.
It's just another day for them to go out there and fucking make quota. You know, they're out there like, you know, they know it. And they're out there fucking hella deep all types of checkpoints all over the place. It's like they fucking. It's like New Year's Eve. The people are the salmon run, and they're the fucking bears. They're just arr, arr, arr. You know what I'm saying? Like just fucking people up. Just arr, arr.
Holy shit!
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they do. They corral everybody into a fucking bottleneck, and that's what happens to the salmon. They come upstream, and they're all just like, and there's a bunch of fucking bears just fucking them up, impounding cars, sending people to jail. You know
what though? I can't say that I've ever had. I don't know what that's like because I've only gone out on New Year's to party one time, and that was with you.
We had a good time.
Yeah, but we went out after the ball dropped.
Right.
Remember, and we went out with a friend of ours and went to some club, and it was like 3:00 in the morning. We had a good time, but like I don't know what that's like. But I guess I can kind of understand because like they're trying to prevent people drinking and driving, so I guess that's kind of like a safety issue. But then at the same time, then why is alcohol like alcohol is legal? But then you don't want people drinking and driving. So like, here, take this drug, but don't get in a car.
Yeah.
So either make it like completely legal, and I think it's fucked up. I honestly think alcohol is the worst drug because ain't nobody gonna smoke no weed and gonna run nobody over. Cause you know what happens?
Hell no.
You get in a car and you think driving 20 miles per hour is fast. You're like, yo, am I going too fast? Yo, am I going too fast? What? Like, you don't even know what the hell's happening. The alcohol, you feel like you're invincible when you drink fucking alcohol. That's just why we drink it in our basement.
And so the fact that, like, you know, that they know that people are out drinking, and then they're intentionally setting up these checkpoints and stuff like that to check people.
It's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
I'm going to read some comments. And then Star says, no, I know exactly what you mean, Gina. Okay, so good. I'm glad that someone's concurring with me about my deja vu because it's been really intense lately. And Melissa says, I don't think you're allowed to bring anything with you when you're standing out there. So it's not like you're drinking alcohol all night waiting for the bolt to try. I'm not even sure if you can bring any liquids. Edgar's here. Can you bring liquids? Because ain't nobody gonna tell me I can bring my flask. Because the bitch is bringing her flask everywhere.
You stay bringing that fucking flask.
I bought that flask for a reason. And then Edgar says, not just speed traps, DUI traps.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So it's
both.
Okay.
Yeah, they do, because there's a lot of cops out there checking the highways for people speeding. Okay. And then there's a lot in the inner cities. There's a lot of DUI traps, where like you pull down a street, if it's a one way, forget it. There'll be a DUI trap set up at the end of the block. Or somewhere at the beginning of the block. As soon as you pull in, you can't go nowhere. You're stuck.
Well, again, that's why you should get drunk and fucked up in your house.
Or you get one of those shields on your windshield, and they just wave you through.
You think so?
You know how many checkpoints I've been waved through because of that shield?
I can neither confirm nor deny that has happened.
I can confirm it. It's happened a lot.
Well, it hasn't happened for me because my dumb ass don't ever put that shit on my windshield.
I got a shield for me and I got a shield for you.
I know, and I never put it up. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead, Eva. I'm sorry.
Another thing that I just don't like about New Year's is fucking New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
I just think it's
I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I just think it's the dumbest shit ever. Like, you're going to wait till the end of a year.
Or the beginning of a new year.
Or the beginning of a new year to set a date to do something. And it's like, you're supposed to just fucking stop what you're doing and start a whole new fucking way of living in one day. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the way the way you commit to something. You commit to something the minute you think about it, you commit to it immediately. You don't say, okay,
yeah. Tell them how you feel.
That's how you do it. And that's why I think New Year's resolution is the dumbest things ever, because 80 to 85% of people that make New Year's resolutions, they fucking fail at it because of that reason. Because it's not something that they're really committed to. It's just something that they kind of like. It's that shiny, that silver shiny thing that they just see in the distance that they always want, you know. But they don't really ever want to commit to getting it. They just want to say that they do it, you know.
I think New Year's resolutions have become even a bigger thing because of social media. Yeah. I think people want to portray that they're about doing shit and they ain't about shit.
Well, that's social media.
And I told you this on the last live, that I think one of the reasons why a lot of people are having a hard time with 2020 is because they can't go out in society and they can't floss the way that they want people to think that they are flossing.
Yeah, well, there's a whole nother reason behind that.
Wait, what do you mean?
I feel like that comes from people needing other people to acknowledge their success.
They're needing other people's approval. Yeah. So, but I don't even think it's about the success. I just think it's about people wanting other people to see what it is they're doing.
Right, but that comes from somebody doing something and them not being able to acknowledge their own success. So they have to put it out there so that other people acknowledge it, and that validates their success for them.
I agree with you, but I don't think it's always about success. I think it's just about people letting other people see what they're doing, to let other people know that, look, I'm doing something you're not, so like I'm better than you. But it's sometimes not even about the validation.
Of course it is.
Okay. I think sometimes it's about gloating. And gloating doesn't need validation. It just needs it's just people putting their shit out there so they feel better about themselves, and they're gloating. Do you get what I'm saying when I say that?
I do, but I don't, because if you're putting something out there,
okay,
right? You're putting something out there so that people can put it into perspective. Mm-hmm. So you're putting it on display. When you put something on display, it's for it to be seen.
Okay.
So like.
But I don't think it's always about validation. I think people sometimes just like to put things out there because they just want other people to see what they're about.
Yeah, it's the attention.
It's the attention, but it's not always about the validation. Because some people like attention, but they don't need other people to validate them. And I will speak from experience. I like to put out a lot of content. I don't put my content out for validation. I actually do things a lot of times because I want to help other people.
Yeah, but we're talking.
So it's not always about that.
But that's two different things.
Okay.
Okay, you don't need people to acknowledge your success.
It depends on what you're defining as success.
Just something that you've done, that you've accomplished. Like I don't feel like that you need someone else to say, "Hey, you're doing a good job," for you to know that you're doing a good job.
Me personally, no.
Exactly.
But I think that there's other people like that.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying.
Those are the people that need acknowledgement.
No, what I'm saying is that I think that there's other people like me, that they put things out in the world not just for the validation.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna go, like you said. You're talking about. You said that people.
I say tomato. You say tomato.
You say people do it for gloating.
Yeah,
okay?
Some people like to gloat, but it's not because they need to be validated.
I just don't feel like that those people are doing things in a positive way. If you're gloating, you don't do that. You do it in a positive way.
Yeah, yes,
you do it to help people, to lift people up, to acknowledge. You don't look for. If you're gloating, if you're just showing it off, just to be
negative.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's not about the validation, is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, because you're a gloat, right? And you know.
No. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to read some comments. So Edgar says, okay, when I went to Times Square, I had flasks, small liquor bottles, and other unmentionables. It was wonderful. Okay, so then you can bring things, because I couldn't imagine authorities like making sure people didn't have stuff. Could you imagine like the capacity of officers that they would have, or law enforcement they would have to enforce that type of like searching?
Yeah, but
because at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and that's the only example I can think of where there's like large crowds of people, there's no way to prevent people from bringing in shit. And Star says, tell them why you mad, Evo. That's what I was saying. And then Edgar says, New Year's Eve resolutions are for people doing Jedi mind tricks on themselves and others. I agree with that. I've never myself have done a New Year's Eve resolution because maybe it's also because my birthday's in January, so like it just doesn't correlate for me, but I don't feel like I need to wait to January because I make a lot of goals for myself throughout the year. But I can understand why people think that New Year's is a good time because it's a fresh start. We're starting something new, and like just let those things go behind you. And I think maybe there are a lot of people in 2021 that will be doing that because 2020 was a really hard year. And I think there are some people that did better than others, and I think there are some that didn't do that well. And I think that they're hoping that 2021 is like a fresh start for them. So I can understand that.
Yes, that's fine. But to set...
Because we did say that 2021 is going to be very different.
But to set a New Year's resolution on New Year's, like that is the time for all change, if you're living your life like under those terms, yo, you're obviously failing at a lot of shit. Then
You think so?
I'm speculating, but I think that if you're putting all these resolutions are based on things about yourself that you want to change, things that you want to make better, right? About your life. Isn't that what a resolution is?
Yes.
Okay,
but
so to wait until the end of the year to say
the beginning of the year.
okay, to the end or the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Cup half full, cup half empty, right?
Okay.
So
tomato.
tomato. To wait till that point in time. So let's just say all year you've been struggling with the number one resolution, which is weight loss or weight gain or health and fitness and better lifestyle. So that you know all year, you're conscious that you need to lose weight. You need to make a change in your life. And you're going to wait all the way till the end of the year to say, all right, now January 1st, turning a new leaf. No. Like, and then so if you use that method to change a lot of things in your life, then you're not changing much. More than likely, it's failing throughout the process. You may start on a good foot, but to say that you were serious about it and you carried it out and you changed based on the way that you went about it, it's highly unlikely. There's a large, it's statistically proven that 80 to 85% of New Year's resolutions fail.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is that if you're the type of person that you go about your life like that, then you have a high probability of failing in those things, as per the New Year's resolution statistic.
So maybe I just wasn't understanding what you were saying, because you said those things. I just think that there are people who are very successful in what they're doing, but they want to take another step in life, and maybe they fail at that, but not everything. So like, because you said if that's the way they're setting themselves up, then they're failing. And I don't think that they're failing at everything, just maybe that particular aspect. Right. And the only reason why I say that is because, like, for example, today on Instagram, I posted something that said, everybody's journey starts at the beginning. So
yes,
everybody's journey starts differently.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
So
but
I just want to say that maybe they fail at that particular moment, but I don't think that means that they're failing overall.
Okay, but again, so let's just say
stop. Let me stop you. I want to read some comments before, because I feel like we're.
I don't think you're I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you're missing the point. What I'm saying, yes, what you're saying is true.
Okay.
Okay, but let's just say take out New Year's.
Okay.
Okay, if a person wants to make a change, they're gonna make a change when they're damn near ready to make a change.
Yeah.
Not on a set date. You know what I'm saying? Putting it under those conditions, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Let's just agree to disagree, because I don't necessarily agree with you.
We're going to put a pin in that. We're going to circle back around to it.
We're going to put a pin in that, circle around to it, because I don't think having a set date is necessarily setting yourself up for failure. I'm going to read some comments. So, Carlos Sanchez says, all content is put out for validation, period. Any side shot you get can get chief good for... Wait, let me read it again. Any side shot you can get chief good for you...
Any side shot you can get, Chief, good for you.
Okay. And then Melissa says the gym resolution, rolls eyes. And then Melissa's telling you to preach. And then Gina's saying, okay, Evo. And then Edgar's saying, preach, Evo. Obviously,
because
they're feeling you.
There's some truth to it. You know, there's...
Yeah, I'm not saying that there isn't truth to it. I'm just saying that I think some of... I'm being nitpicky.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Yeah, you are.
But that's my job. And Gina says resolutions should not be made because everyone else is making them. And then Edgar says people have the ability to change at any time, not just at New Year's.
Yes.
And I agree with that. I want to move on from this.
Yes, let's move on.
I agree with you, but I do not agree that setting a date is setting yourself up for failure.
Okay.
Because I have set many dates, and that actually helps me succeed.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
But you just don't do it as a New Year's resolution.
No, but I have set many dates.
That is my point.
Okay.
Thank you. Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please and thank you.
On a lighter note.
Thank you. Jesus Christ.
On a lighter note.
No, I digress.
That's my line.
Yeah, that's her
I
line.
know that was the
Yeah.
joke, Mom. Thanks.
One thing I like about New Year's.
Oh, finally,
Just
we're,
one thing.
we're getting to something you actually like about New Year's.
One thing I like about New Year's.
Jesus Christ.
I actually like when I did go out on New Year's, going out and seeing all the ridiculous people freezing their asses off, trying to show off these cute little fucking outfits that they got because it's cold as fuck outside, but they want to show it off. And I'm talking about guys and girls. I've seen some guys out there wearing fucking t-shirts, short sleeves, with some fucking tight ass pants and no jacket, freezing their ass off. Meanwhile, I got a full trench on, a scarf, and gloves, and they're out there just like fucking trying to keep still. And you see these girls with these like little ass mini dresses on, fucking open toe shoes, and it's like technically freezing.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
And I know I'm warm as fuck.
Cardi B said it best. A thotty never cold.
Oh, she cold. Oh, trust me, she
Okay,
cold.
'cause
And
listen.
she ain't got no WAP in that cold ass weather either.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
my
Cardi.
God,
You'll take that
Jesus
shit
Christ.
down.
You know what's funny? The only thing.
Okay, so I just need to say something really quick. I'm 100% guilty of that. I have been that chick,
Oh,
gone
no.
to a club,
No.
left my coat in the
I
car.
didn't say a club. I'm talking about on New Year's.
Okay, but in general, I have been that chick. I have left my shit in the car.
Yes.
It has been bleeding ass cold outside, and I'm wearing a little ass dress, and I got open toe shoes, and I don't give a fuck.
I think
Because
that-
when we get in the club, it's hot as
I think
shit in there.
that's why I got a coat check.
Okay, but I was a broke ass bitch. I had no money for coat check. That's why I had to leave my coat in the car.
So to me that shit is always funny as hell.
The thing I find funny, Evo only finds the good thing about New Year's Eve is watching other people suffer.
He was like,
Yes.
actually, on New Year's, you know what I like about it? Seeing other people freeze their ass off. Okay, so Edgar says, like about New Year's coquito and a lot of that. And Edgar says, I was never cold. It's about bundling up. So
Yeah.
I think the only other thing that I can compare to that is I one time went to the Thanksgiving Day parade with my mother. And it was really cold outside. And since it was really cold outside, we had to wear a lot of layers. And we had like hot chocolate and we like jumped around and shit like that. And it kept us pretty warm. I was young, so like I obviously wasn't drinking alcohol and I was okay. But I have been that bitch. I have been the bitch with a skimpy ass outfit on, with open toe shoes in the middle of dead ass January on my birthday.
Yeah.
Cause my birthday's in January.
Yes, so you
freezing
listen,
my ass
but
off,
you-
trying to get cute.
You get a pass because legitimately
Okay.
your birthday is in the fucking brick ass cold.
Always. I actually remember one time on my 26th birthday where we were leaving a club and I had open toe
What?
shoes on and it started snowing. And the bitch was walking with stilettos with open toe shoes on, freezing my gunyons off. But I was still cute.
It,
That's all
it
that
was your
mattered.
birthday.
So Sonia says, I agree with Evo 100%. Everyone should have a goal and make a change as soon as they think about it and not at the beginning of the year.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Oh, God.
So,
okay, fine.
here-
People
listen.
agree with Evo.
So here's what New Year's means to me.
what
And,
does it mean to you, Evo?
and so I feel like that New Year's is a perfect time for reflection. And it's a moment to like take a look at the past, take a look at the year, think about all the things that you've done that you didn't really like about what you did and you potentially like to just turn a new leaf in the new year.
Okay.
You know?
Didn't do.
Or you didn't do. You know, I think about every year as a relationship.
Okay.
You know, so I'm breaking up with this one relationship and I'm starting a new relationship and I'm leaving all the bad that I had with that relationship in the past and I'm bringing all the good into the next one.
Okay.
And I wish, and so I think it's a great opportunity to start a new leaf, to start things on a fresh page, only because it's like it's the beginning of a year, so it symbolizes a new beginning. But I think that if you're gonna make any type of resolution or anything like that, it should be in the form of reflection, and not saying that okay, when New Year's comes, that's when I'm gonna make this change. No,
It's good lower.
at this time, it's like take a second just to look back at the year, you know, and really reflect. And I think self-reflecting, being able to take a look at yourself, is one of the most hardest and one of the most important things you can do as a person, but it's one of the most beneficial things you can do as a person.
Well, we spoke about this on a previous live when you talk about that quote from, I forget his name exactly, but when you're talking about having his nose right in front of your mouth, it's hard. It's really hard to recognize you as yourself.
Yes.
Even though you're with yourself all the time.
So I think New Year's is a perfect time to do that, because you have a moment where you can actually have a point in time where you can take a look back at a whole period of time and know that shortly after that begins a new chapter.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So it is a perfect time for reflection, and I like to take every New Year's to do that and remember a quote from one of my favorite artists, Jay-Z, and the quote goes, "May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows." And with that, that's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got for as far as the topics that I wanted to discuss.
So I will say this, and I'm going to speak a truth right now, 100% truth. If we want to talk about reflection, 2020 was hard for you and me.
Yeah.
It was hard for a lot of different reasons. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it got really great in the middle. And then it got hard again, and I think it was because we were in each other's space a lot. There was
some adjusting that needed to be done with everything that went on.
But there were moments where when we were in each other's space where it was amazing, because we previous to that didn't have a lot of that time in each other's space, right? But then it was like, okay, 9 months in, we're in each other's space a lot. I need to exit stage left. So I do think reflecting on 2020, I can say that there were high moments, there were low moments. And I think that a lot of people went through that this year. And I would hope that people would look back at this year and do exactly what it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
Look at the highs, look at the lows, and then see what you want to adjust.
Absolutely. I agree.
And
that's a perfect time to do it.
Yes. So maybe we can change it. Instead of saying New Year's Eve, a New Year's resolution.
New Year's reflection.
A New Year's reflection.
That's it. Hashtag New Year's reflections.
Yes.
Eliminate New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your New Year's reflection? How do you see yourself?
Yeah.
Reflecting back on the year, and how do you project yourself
moving
forward onto the new one?
And then what do you want to adjust? What do you want to keep the same?
Yes.
Because Lord knows, there are things that, as I reflect on 2020, I would definitely like to adjust them. There are some things I want to change, and there's 100% things I want to keep.
And if you're not evolving, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So at the end of the year is a perfect time to do all that.
So Melissa says, I'm superstitious, and I like a clean house and no dirty laundry to go into the new year. My mom used to do that.
I could dig it.
I totally get that. And knowing her mother, I totally get that. And then Gina says, or not a breakup, but moving into the next phase. And then Edgar says, I have a winter birthday too, so when I go out, I choose function over fashion and rather be warm and comfortable than fashionable and cold. Speaking for myself, of course. Well, my birthday's in January, and having a birthday in January for literally my whole life, I've generally had to experience my birthday in the cold, except for this year, where my wonderful husband Evo took me on an amazing trip for my birthday. I asked for it, but like you really made sure that it was like the pinnacle of what I wanted for my 40th. And I want to say that this is the first time in my entire life that I had spent my birthday in a warm climate. And I'm so used to it either snowing on my birthday, because like I can't even tell you how many years it has fucking snowed on my birthday where I'm just like, God damn, bitch ain't going nowhere because it's snowing. But you made it fantastic.
But listen, the flip side to that is that you're a Capricorn.
Yes. Well, and that being said, Mr. Jones says Capricorn's in the house. Right? You literally, like the minute you said that, Mr. Jones says Capricorn in the house. Like,
Capricorn's
listen,
a hell of a sign.
All I gotta say is this. Capricorns, okay, we about to come into Capricorn season real quick. And I know a lot of signs up in here are going to say why they the best and all this, that, and the third. But the Capricorn sign is the only sign that transcends a year. We end it and we begin it. We're the only sign that does that. Okay? So that being said,
you are the beginning, you are the end and the beginning.
We are the omega and we are the alpha. Okay? So just so you know, ain't fucking with no Capricorn, bro. Okay? We are the beginning and the end and the begin, like we're the end and the beginning, like simultaneously. So you're not fucking with us. And that's all I gotta say about that.
So Edgar says the reflection and evolving is year round for me. New Year's is not a special time to do that. Hey,
Okay.
More power to you, brother.
I'm gonna read. I want to read some comments on Facebook. So Carlos says, "I got a good one. Who would you save, Mom Dukes or your wife Dukes? If you hit the city on New Year's Eve, gotta wear a diaper."
I'm telling you, it's an unspoken thing. It really is.
But I'm not sure what he means by who would you save, Mom Dukes or wife Dukes.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. It depends on your relationship with your mom. Depends on your relationship with your wife. Because I know some people that would like to off their wives or off their moms. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to answer that for you. Go save your moms, because I'm good.
Yeah, Mom. I could definitely agree with
Right?
that.
Because
Yeah,
I'm good. Because I'm a Capricorn and I'm good, right?
Good, yeah.
Like I just said, I'm the alpha and the omega. I actually think that brings us to our top 5
Yes,
for the
it does.
night.
It does.
What time is it? Because I actually
It
can't.
is. It's 8:46.
Okay, I actually can't check the top. I can't check the time anymore because if I exit out of this,
Yeah.
you know what happens to that.
Yeah. So coming into our top 5 are the top 5 worst things to do on New Year's.
Okay.
And so coming in at number 5, we just spoke about it. We spent a lot of time on it.
Really?
Yes, and that's making a New Year's resolution.
Okay, so that's the worst thing that you can do on New Year's?
That's number 5. That's one of the worst things you can do on New Year's, and it is because, like I said, there is an 80% chance that they fail anyway. So the fact that you're doing something on a day that has a high probability of failure.
80%.
80%.
High probability. That's more than half. That's like
It's a high probability.
That's extremely high.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of the worst things you can do on New Year's. It's you're investing into something that has a high probability of failure. It's a bad decision. Period. And so Vanessa says, never get tired of sending Gina horoscopes memes. LOL.
Okay. Oh God, here we go.
And Edgar says Capricorns have nothing for us Pisces. We are the last sign in the zodiac, and Pisces have all signs within us.
Thus, we are considered the universal sign.
Oh.
I would disagree thoroughly on that.
Ooh.
Pisces are water signs. You are so unstable.
Bro, who cares about zodiac signs? Like,
Okay, because
a lot of people do,
okay.
Mateo, actually.
Why?
Water is so unpredictable. You are so unstable. You can be very calm, and at the same time, you could be so eruptive. Capricorns, we are Earth. We ground everything.
And then there's people that blame
So-
their actions on their zodiac sign. Oh, I jumped off a bridge. It's because I'm a Pisces. Like, no, bro.
Okay.
You're just stupid.
You say it's stupid, but there's a lot more that goes into zodiac than you believe. Actually, Evo put a pin in that. We will talk about zodiacs in the new
Another
year.
time.
In the new year, we will talk about zodiacs because I will go really deep into zodiacs for you, and I will just give you this little tidbit right now. Take away the signs. Take away Capricorn, Pisces, and all that other hoopla, right? Forget it, all that. The one thing that is 100% true about zodiacs is that when you are born and when I am born and when Mateo was born, the sun and the moon are rotating the earth at the same time. Every time a Virgo is born, every time a Taurus is born, every time a Capricorn is born. And that is true. So the sun and the moon are always in the same positions because of how the earth rotates. So that being said, the energy that the moon is providing to the earth at every single month and day and year throughout time is potentially the same because it's a rotation. So it just keeps going around and around. So when you were born and when Titi Moo was born, you're both Virgos, so the sun and the moon were at the same position. So that is 100% true. And if you know anything about astronomy, is that the moon has a very big portion of how the earth functions. Now let's go into our number 4 for top 5.
Okay, so number 4.
We'll talk about zodiacs in 2021.
Is another topic that we already got into, which is one of the worst things you can do on New Year's, and that's go to Times Square.
That should be number 1. What do you
No, it's really not. It's really not.
Well, I think Edgar would fucking disagree with you. I just want to read a comment real quick. So Carlos says Pisces can never reveal their true emotions. Yes, agreed. Again, water signs, really emotional. Yeah. Sorry, Edgar, I'm not trying to down you. I think being very emotional is a great thing. A lot of Pisces are very loving, but you're water and you're very uneasy.
And so Carlos says that Pisces can never reveal their true emotions.
I just read that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were reading Edgar's comment.
No.
Sorry about that. So yeah, so Times Square is cold outside. There's no bathrooms. Restaurants charge you an arm and a leg to eat food. I mean, it's literally, again, raping you season.
Listen, they're like, it's $100 for these chicken tenders and French fries. You want to celebrate New Year's?
You could have a way better time sitting on your couch watching everybody else freeze their ass off in the comfort of your own home, drinking some wine.
So Melissa says Vanessa's my Virgo sister, and then Mr. Jones says, "Stop it, Capricorn's got this."
Yeah, they do.
Look, we're about to fight. But Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, we are all the same house, which is fine. And then Vanessa says Mateo, laughing my ass off. He's beyond his years.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know.
Sometimes.
What you mean by that?
You'll be on your years, which means that you're only 18, but you sometimes speak as someone who's older. Obviously, he's not that beyond.
Yeah, sometimes. So I said sometimes.
So then Edgar says, Pisces always show their emotions. Don't let me get started. Oh, shit. Edgar, save it
Watch
for...
out. We're going to do a zodiac. We're going to have to do a zodiac.
I told you, in the new year, we will do that. We have some actually things planned for the new year. Some things that we're going to introduce that I'm actually pretty excited for, but we can start off the new year talking about zodiacs because that will be a great conversation for me. Sorry, Evo.
That's okay. That's all right. So coming in at number 3, one of the worst things that you can do on New Year's is buy a bottle of Ace of Spades.
Oh, man.
Let me tell you something.
I'm assuming that's alcohol.
It is. It's a bottle of champagne.
That's probably right.
And that was the bottle that Jay-Z was promoting.
Jay-Z used to pop a lot of Cristal, right? Mm-hmm. It's like these golden wrapped bottles of champagne, and he tried to do something with them because he was promoting the hell out of their alcohol, and they basically fucking shitted on him. And he was like, "Oh, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do my own thing." So he went out and he bought this company. It was a champagne company, and he rebranded the company called it Ace of Spades. And he made the bottle look all nice, and he put a freaking big old spade on the front of the bottle, and he's promoting it all over his videos like it was the best shit ever.
It was $500 a bottle.
Yeah, it was some crazy shit.
No, it was $500.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, and so I specifically remember that this year.
Look.
What?
Gina says it right now.
Yeah, the pink bottle that you brought to the pink bottle that I brought to your party, right? So I went, and this year I remember business was amazing. I mean, we had a great year.
Eva was like, I'm going to celebrate New Year's like a real gangster.
I said, I'm going out this New Year's and I'm celebrating with the finest. And so I go out and I go get my bottle. Not only do I get I get myself a bottle of Ace of Spades, but I went out and got myself a bottle of Rosé Ace of Spades. Like I stepped it up a notch. I thought I was fucking fancy.
Yo, do you know I just got rid of that bottle?
Did you?
Because you were determined to keep it. And I was
empty. It's $100 bottle.
Okay, well, it's in the guy bag.
It's a garbage bottle right now, right? So I remember going to buy this bottle thinking I was the fucking man, right? We're going to go to this party for New Year's. We go to our fucking lovely friend's house, Gina. Show up with this bottle like I'm the fucking man. Everybody recognizes it because they know fucking Jay-Z owns Ace of Spades, and it's not a fucking cheap bottle of wine. So
you mean
a champagne, right? It's not a cheap bottle of champagne. So I remember fucking at some point popping the bottle, pouring some out to like a select few because, you know, I selected a couple people. Everybody was seeing it. Everybody wanted to taste some.
It was a 90s party.
It was a 90s party. It was the nastiest fucking shit I've ever had.
It was so and I remember,
my
like,
God.
I didn't want to hurt your feelings, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is great.
Oh,
I was like, oh, my God, this is so
disgusting.
bad.
It was so nasty.
So Edgar says, so Gina says it was the pink bottle because that was not good. And then Edgar says Ace of Spades, yes, it's horrible.
Yes, it was disgusting.
And then Edgar says, I'd rather drink a bottle of Andre, and that's the Cisco of champagne.
I'm telling you.
Yo, Ace of Spades is hot. It tastes so bad. And I felt so bad because you were so excited for this bottle. And, like, you're a huge Jay-Z fan.
Yes, I am.
Okay, huge. And you bought the bottle not because you wanted to gloat, because you felt like you had a great
I wanted to treat myself.
You want to treat yourself.
Yo, I worked
and you bought
hard
this bottle,
that year.
and you were like, yo, I deserve this bottle. And then you drank, and you were like,
yo, how many nights did I come home at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, to wake up the next day and be gone for like 16 hours. And you know what? Special shout out to my man Alex, who just joined the stream on Facebook. He says, congrats on the show. I'm here with the wife enjoying all your opinions. I need a shout out. Shout out to you. Yo, Alex. I did a lot of business with Alex in those times. And we had a lot of great business.
Yeah?
Yeah. Alex worked at he worked at a couple dealerships. He was a manager at some point at White Plains Nissan. And we did a lot of great work together. And so it was just a great year all around. I freaking busted my ass. The business did great. Had made a lot of great business relationships, just a lot of success, and I wanted to treat myself.
Yeah.
And
I remember vividly.
That shit was disgusting, and I remember telling myself, I don't give a fuck. I bought this shit. I'm gonna drink this shit, and I drank the whole shit.
Yeah, you did.
I don't think I felt good the next morning.
Because I had to drive home that night. I remember.
Yeah, it was the fucking worst thing ever.
So please don't go.
Please
don't buy a bottle of Ace of Spades.
Do not buy yourself.
Actually, there's some champagne that you and I have had from Trader Joe's that's amazing.
Yeah.
We need to figure that out and recommend it to everybody.
Way better. Look, even Carlos says throw up.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Okay, so that was number 3. Coming in at number 2, one of the worst things you can do on New Year's is get locked up. I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
What?
Getting locked up on New Year's has got to be the fucking worst thing ever. Because now, listen, you're getting locked up and you're not going to see a judge because the fucking everybody's gone. So you're going to be sitting in the court system. And if you get locked up in New York, you're going to fucking central bookings.
Yeah. First of all, the minute you said that, all I could think about, because I'm locked up, they won't let me out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Don't get locked up on New Year's. Y'all, forget about it. It'll be the fucking worst thing ever. And it's just the worst way to start off the fucking
Try
year.
not to get locked up ever. How about that?
I mean, listen, shit happens, but... you know,
does it even?
So apparently to a lot of people, the fucking American jail system has done nothing but grow over the last I don't know how many fucking years.
I know, but you're just like, I don't know, shit happens.
Shit happens. Especially when they're out to get you. It's a fucking business.
Listen, I've gotten locked up.
Yeah,
before.
it's a business. They're out to fucking get you. But so one of the worst times, you're out fucking partying, having a good time, shit gets carried away, and next thing you know, you're fucking locked up. Like, not good. Definitely not good.
Yo, that's hilarious. You're just like, I'm having a good time, fucking in jail.
You're locked up. So
wait. So Mr. Joe says, I never tasted Ace of Spades, but glad you did, so I won't make that mistake.
Please learn from my mistake.
Hove did that, so hopefully you don't go through that. And then Edgar says, I agree with Evo, you won't get out until 3 days later. And then Mr. Jones, being locked up with your fleece, Johnson ain't cool. I'm telling you, and listen, being locked up as a whole fucking sucks, but you're not fucking, like, depending on when New Year's falls, you get New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then you're not seeing the judge to the 3rd day, for sure. They're like, here, eat this sandwich, stay in this fucking bullpen, and we'll see you when we see you, motherfucker. All right, so that actually brings us to our number 1.
Yeah. So
wait, it's number 1 what?
It's the number 1 worst thing that you can do on New Year's.
Okay, and then wow, we're coming to an end for 2020.
Yeah, and arguably this is my number one. It probably is maybe not your number one, but it's definitely my number one worst thing that you can do on yours because it's just a horrible way to start off the year. And that's starting off the new year doing the fucking walk of shame.
Oh, listen. Ain't nothing wrong with doing the walk of shame.
No, but to do it
I've
on
done the walk of shame.
but to do it on New Year's, right? When
Who cares?
try doing it on New Year's when like the city's in fucking like disarray. They're still cleaning up from all the shit that happened from the night before. So like you're out there, they're cleaning up garbage and mess and shit like that, and you're just walking up on all that filth, feeling filthy yourself, doing the walk of shame. It's just filth on filth. You know what I mean?
I mean, does that sound that bad? Does it sound that
I
bad?
don't know. I think you kind of like it.
I don't know. I've done the walk.
sounds like you kind of like it.
I've actually wait. I want to read some comments. So Carlos says, no, locked up is the worst aside from injury or death. And Carlos says, Schmeat and fake cheese sandwiches. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because from experience, they're like, here, take this bullshit ass sandwich and eat this shit. And then bullpen therapy. I know all about that.
Mm-hmm.
I have done the walk of shame more than I would like to say.
I think we all have.
But I think one of the best times, I got it, Mateo. One of the best times I've done the walk of shame was, my friends on here can contest, Melissa and Gina. We were in Atlantic City, and we all went out together. We all came back separate, and I did the walk of shame through our hotel lobby at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I looked at that hotel staff, and I said, what the fuck you looking at?
I don't know. I felt
good about myself.
So again,
I had a good time.
Again, there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with the walk of shame. I'm just saying doing it on New Year's. You're starting off the year with the walk of shame.
Being shameful?
It's the walk of shame.
Oh, whatever, bro.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't like it. I don't want to do it. It feels fucking nasty. All right, and it was just, this is my top 5, all right? So that brings us to a close. Top 5, 2020, end of year wrap up.
Yo, let me get a like I just gotta give it to Emo. This is my husband, but I gotta give him a pound.
Will Smith and Jazz.
So Edgar says, walk of shame, Uber of shame, subway ride of shame,
Yes.
Metro North
All that.
LIRR ride of shame.
All that filth.
And then Gina says, oh yes, you strutted. I sure as hell did. Because you know what? Ain't nothing like being in your 20s making a walk of shame in Atlantic City. But I will say this.
I've had some great walk of shames.
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah,
And
it just doesn't. It's just not the way I want to start the year.
Okay, and I will agree with that. Maybe you don't want to start the year with that, but I will not. I will say that I don't think doing the walk of shame is the worst thing that could happen to you.
No, it's not. It's just something. It's the worst. One of the worst things you can do on New Year's.
Okay, so that actually brings us to the end of this live.
Yes, it does.
And there's a few things that I want to say. That is actually. This is actually our last live for 2020.
Yes, it is.
We will be on a hiatus until New Year's Day, which actually falls on a Friday, and we will be here with you. But we just want to thank everybody that has joined us for this live and all other past lives. We appreciate you. We want you to have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, because we appreciate you.
Everything that's happy.
And honestly, Shit Talk Fridays has become something that Ego and I have thoroughly looked forward to. We love sharing fun stories with you.
Yes.
We love interacting with the audience. And this was created for fun.
I think one of the things that I love the most about this is that it still allows us all to get together.
Yes.
In a time where we're not supposed to be getting together.
Yes.
It allows us to just chill, have some drinks, talk shit, laugh, and unwind, which is why this show started in the first place.
Yes,
I
100%.
think my favorite part about doing Shit Talk Friday is the amount of people that are timeout and blocked.
Mateo is reflecting on his 2020. He has blocked a lot of people and timed them out as our moderator. I would like to thank Mateo for all of his hard work. I would like to thank my husband for all his hard work for 2020. But yo, until we see you next time in 2021.
No, and until next year.
Until next year. Yo, peace out. Happy New